G'day, Ben Cousins here.
Peace, everybody. I'm Carmelo Anthony.
You're listening to Ball Magnets.
And you're listening to the Ball Magnet Podcast.
He's a superstar. He is an absolute superstar. Tom Mitchell. Cripps at the back. Cripps is too good. Yes! Oh, how good was that?
Joshy battle. This one's been in the works for a little while. Mutual friend Timmy Membry, the skunk, we like to call him, has kindly recommended that we get you on for a chat. So thanks for coming on the Ball Magnets pod.
No, man. Thanks for having me.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, buddy.
I want to start at the beginning of your AFL journey because doing some research, we know each other a little bit off the field, but looking into your footy journey, debuting as a school kid. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, got drafted. Still had a year to go with school, so that was always that was challenging in a sense because the year that I got drafted, it was like all you want to do is impress your teammates, earn respect through training and things like that. But I knew I still had a year to go on school, so I was pretty much at school 4 days of the week, and then I'd main training on the Thursday, and then have to go back to the club and train with every Tuesday. I'd be with Benny McGlynn.
Really?
He was doing a bit of the VFL and was a development coach. So me and him would always be running laps on the Tuesday, training together. So yeah, that was always challenging, but the opportunity arose in the school holidays. So yeah, I was lucky enough to play one game in my first year, and it fell on the Friday night against Essendon. And yeah, it was an awesome experience. We got flogged, but yeah, it was awesome running out there.
I saw that 61-point loss, but that's not what it's about. You would have rocked up to school on the Monday feeling like an absolute king.
Oh, mate, a lot of people say that, but yeah, I mean, it was a school holiday, so I reckon we still had a week to go. But yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. And then yeah, it was going back to school. A lot of guys were always wanted to chat about it, which I think it made it cool in a sense as well.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that happens these days. I think the drafting rules have changed where not many 17-year-olds play. I assume that was the age you were when you debuted, or maybe 18?
No, yeah. So I was 18 when I played.
Yeah.
But I think a few guys before me, I reckon.
Dan Hanbury was one of them.
Yeah, Hannah's was one. I had a couple of years with Hannah's at the Saints, which is cool. But yeah, I think Kane Turner might have been the last one. Yeah. But yeah, there's been a few that have gone through school and then had the opportunity to play AFL at the same time.
And obviously went to Haileybury, a good APS school. I was Carey, so the opposition to you. But Matty Lloyd was one of your footy coaches there, and you had a pretty good relationship with him.
Yeah, so come across to went to Haileybury in year 9. So went across from I was at just a public school in Narre Warren, and then made the move to go to Haileybury and Berwick there, and was at Keysborough a couple of days a week as well. So yeah, that was a great opportunity, and got to meet some special people. And yeah, Lloydie was big in I guess my development over the 3 to 4 year period that I spent with him, and meet some of your close friends who you go to school with, and then get to play footy and cricket with on the weekends was always good fun.
It seems these days there's a lot of AFL current players, but also past players involved in APS footy. I helped out at Carey last year. I think Jack Viney's going to be there this year. Jobe Watson was head coach of Xavier. Pendles is now at Haileybury. It's pretty cool to get that sort of coaching at such a young age, don't you reckon?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's like you're very fortunate to learn off these guys who are great to the game, and then all of a sudden they come down and, you're learning. I was playing forward at the time, so you're learning things off Matty Lloyd, who kicked nearly 1,000 goals in the AFL, and then obviously now the guys at Haileybury learning off Pendles, one of the game's best ever players, which I assume would be absolutely amazing.
I still learn things from him as a player that's been playing AFL for over 10 years. You soak up every word he says because he doesn't speak all the time, but when he speaks, it's like, okay, it's quality. Like you take a few gems out of what he's saying. Sorry. Sorry, Ad. No, you're good. They'll cut that out. So that's good.
Which I think has been, as you touch on that point, I think, in maybe year 9 or 10, Lloydie had like a pretty stern chat with me and a few other guys who were at school. Jack Scrimshaw, who I'm teammates with now, just around like some of our training standards and what like he knew our ambitions were to hopefully one day play in the AFL, but he could see that we probably just weren't training hard enough, and if like guys were in the team who, you know, we'd use it as like you get out there, you're training, you're playing with your schoolmates, and it was more fun after school. But yeah, he was big on setting standards, and which I think is ingrained in how I've gone about it since then. And so yeah, I was very lucky to have Lloydie from year 9, 10 onwards, which, you know, helped with some of the standards that I hold.
Do you remember how that chat was delivered? Was it pretty firm?
Yeah, he's pretty firm, Lordo, with his feedback. So there was no real sugarcoating anything, and that's how I like it. And I think, you know, as a what would I been 15, 16 year old, when you're getting, you know, the stern chats, it's not always pleasant. You're not overly fond of it at the time, but yeah, looking back, it was pretty good.
And you played a bit of cricket as well. Was that just at Haileybury, or you played rep cricket, club cricket? Because you sort of were one of those athletes that had to make a call at a young age as well, similar to, say, a Pendles with basketball and footy. Yours was cricket and footy?
Yeah, so I actually went to Haileybury on a cricket scholarship.
Really?
So yeah, I went there in year 9 on a cricket scholarship.
Bat or ball?
A little bit of both, but I wasn't that good. I was just lucky at the time. I think I had a couple of good carnivals, and you know, it was always going to be tough to make cricket because, you know, like limited spots, limited opportunities. So,
although having said that, if you make a cricketing career, just get a few seasons in the IPL, you're making much more of a killing than an AFL career.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, like, it's crazy money. I read the other day, I think Pat Cummins and Hazelwood's, these guys, they're earning like 5-6 million in one season for 3 months of the year, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. What about you touched on cricket as well? I've got to confirm or deny a question. Is it true you and Brett Ratten at St Kilda used to play one-on-one cricket games at the club or with a few of the boys, and then Rats would have a meeting and he'd come to the meeting all sweaty and flustered, and he'd come in and everyone would be like, "Rats, what have you been doing?" You're like, "Oh, I've been playing cricket with Joshy Battle." Did you used to bowl to him?
That is 100% true. He used to just want to play cricket flat out. He still does now, and his knees are obviously back with him at the Hawks now, but his knees are cooked and he's still trying to bowl and bat. But yeah, he'd be late to meetings and, you know, sweating, and we'd be like, "Hey, mate, what's going on? We're about to, you know, we got our team meeting, and Rats is walking in, you know, 2 minutes late because he's wanting to play cricket for the last hour." So yeah, that was always good fun, and he used to take the piss out of me flat out about, you know, I was shit at cricket. He was good, and
he's just a big kid, Rats. I loved him. I had him as my line coach at Hawthorn in the midfield for a fair while, and he used to walk in. I don't know if he did this as well, but his hats would always be off centre.
Mate, never wears his hat.
Yeah,
on,
hat's always like this.
It's off centre, and fuck. I shouldn't swear, but yeah, mate, it was so funny, and yeah, it's good to spend a bit of time with him again now.
He's a great man, Rats, and he also is a big kid in regards to footy as well. Like, he always has a ball in his hand. He's always like selling you a bit of candy through the hallways. He's still doing that at the club,
mate.
And he's got the best opposite foot you'll ever see. Still,
yeah, he
loves
his
left foot is insane.
Loves holding footies, and yeah, it was funny. I was speaking to him yesterday in the gym around. He reckons when he was a player, he hated the gym. All he wanted to do was like he'd sneak off and just do touch. And yeah, he's always, mate, what are you doing in the gym? But no, yeah, he's a good man, Rats.
So in your Haileybury days as well, the green machine. I've been told by Timmy Membry, Dylan Moore, ask Joshy about the green machine, which was your Holden Commodore at the time. So was there an article written about you for the car you had? You're obviously pretty happy with the car at the time.
Mate, I'm good to hopefully clarify this, because at the time it was, it's definitely come back to haunt me. And so yeah, they come to school to do like a video on potentially getting drafted and what it could be like. And then they seen the car, and it was like a green Commodore, and you know, I was just happy that I had a car. It was passed down from my uncle. So you know, it was my first car, which a lot of kids now, it's like, you know, you don't really care what it looks like, what colour it is. Yeah. It gets me around. And yeah, they did a story. They're like, "Oh, the green machine, like you're driving at school." And then yeah, all the mates got in the video, and yeah, it was terrible. And yeah, it's still something to this day where people, I reckon when I first got drafted, the Saints, and they'd show it in nearly most team meetings, and I was petrified and just so hated it at the start. But now I'm just like, you know what, it is what it is. And yeah, it was definitely something I'm very ashamed of and very embarrassed about. But
That's just what footy clubs are, aren't they? Though, like, and the more you hate something, like
Exactly,
if you're hating the green machine,
Yeah.
gag, that boys will
and
double
they
down.
and that was the thing. Like at the start, like I was 18 and I've just come in, and they kept showing it, and I hated it that much. But I think
It's almost worth selling the car. So you
yeah,
have to deal with
yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, I only had it for 2 years, and I was pretty happy to give it back. So
Oh, it's so fun. I'm just picturing Dan Hanbury in a meeting, just loving it.
Oh,
a few of
yeah.
those boys.
yeah, but no, it was so embarrassing.
That's probably something people listening wouldn't know about footy clubs. I'm not sure what it's like at the Hawks, but at the Pies, we pretty much kick off every meeting with something funny or a gag, because that's the only way you can get 40 blokes' attention for a little bit. And some of the stuff they come up with is just rogue, like whether it's a lookalike or just cropping people's heads on different things. Like, has that been your experience at Saints and Hawks as well?
Mate, massive now, and most meetings we're the same. We'll kick off. Cade Simpson normally shows a few photos of, whether it's a coach, back in the day, or Dylan Moore videos of him being a massive Hawks fan when he was a kid. So that's good.
And then obviously you had a very good career at the Saints. So you played 120 something games.
Yeah, and I was there for 8 years, played
8 years.
123 games.
That's a pretty
yeah.
good strike rate of games. Played a lot of footy there.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I loved my time at the Saints. It was met some amazing people, amazing coaches, some very very good friends who I'm super close with now, still to this day. And yeah, all you want to do is, as a kid, get drafted or live out your dreams. So I'm very fortunate that St Kilda gave me the opportunity to play. And yeah, learn a lot. I think it's helped shape me who I am today, in a sense. And yeah, I mean, to play 100 games there, I'm very fortunate.
So obviously at Haileybury and Vic Metro as well, you kicked 11 goals, I think, in 4 games in the Carnival. So you would have expected to come in and play as a forward, but I noticed you only kicked the 4 snags at the Saints. So you've probably shifted around a bit. You played a lot of wing, a lot of half back. Where do you actually think is your best position?
Yeah, I think definitely down back. So I come in, got drafted as a forward, played the 1 game in my first year, and then in my second year I might have played 6 or 7 games. But yeah, so in my 3rd year we had a fair few injuries down back at the time. Jake Carlisle, he was a big one of our key backs, and he was injured. I think maybe Dylan Robertson had the heart problem, so he was out. And then so yeah, I got the opportunity to go down back, and at the time I was like, well, I've never played back in my life, but I thought, yeah, it's a great opportunity to learn, to play on, some forwards as well. And then hopefully if I was to go back forward, to implement some of the things that I learned down back, up forward. And yeah, really loved my time down back. So yeah, I played my 3rd season down back. And then when Rats got the coaching job in end of 2019, 2020 was the hub year. And then I kind of played a bit of everywhere, like a bit of back, a bit of forward, bit of mid.
But your team currently at Hawthorn has that flexibility. Like, seems like you guys are flicking out of positions all the time, in between quarter breaks.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's the good thing. Like, you see these guys, like you see Sis, for instance, he'll start back.
Dimmer Hardwick.
Yeah, Blake Hardwick, he's playing forward at the moment. But yeah, we need like a few goals here and there. Sis goes forward, catches a couple, kicks a few. So
pretty handy asset, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think it's been good for my development and learn to play everywhere. But at the same time, it was like I found it challenging in a sense to really because I wasn't really nailing down one position. I was playing like a bit of everywhere, but I felt I wasn't like at my best.
Yeah,
in a sense. And then it wasn't until Corey Enright came across from he was Geelong. Yeah. Assistant coach there, come across, and he was like, no, let's really cement you down back. And that was awesome. Like, he was my backs coach, and learn a lot from him. And I think that's when I really learn a lot, and just, that kind of helped my footy trajectory go up.
Because you hear players say that a lot. I haven't experienced it personally because I can probably only play the one position inside mid. But you hear so many players, even within Collingwood, that get shifted around a bit. And versatility is a huge strength. But a lot of guys do say, when they nut down one position, that their footy goes to another level, and you just look so comfortable down back. The combo with Barras seems to be working pretty well too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and that was the thing. I was like, I wasn't really nailing any position. I was getting thrown around, and I found it hard just with the continuity. But once I was like, I know that my home is kind of in defence. It's like, and then I was happy to try and help the team wherever it was. But yeah, I really needed to hone in on one spot, and I think that I play my best footy down back.
And we were chatting off air as well before, sharing our experiences with moving clubs, because it happens in the league. It's, as we know, it's a business, and I've experienced it twice, going from Sydney to Hawthorn to Collingwood. And I guess in my situations, I remember I met with Hawthorn probably the halfway point of the year before I ended up moving there at the end of the year. And then the move to Collingwood came a little later, but there's always so much discussion around, what's ethical around meeting with other clubs. And I thought of it as like, if Darcy Moore was chatting to another club, would it affect me? No, like I'd be like, yeah, he's doing what's best for him. So I feel a bit sorry for Oscar, but how did your situation come about with moving from the Saints to the Hawks?
It's a great topic in terms of with the Oscar and all these guys now looking to, not only try and, I guess, benefit themselves with their future, but what that looks like. But yeah, I think for me, and I went through it, and it was bloody tough, because at the time, I was at the Saints for 8 years. Like, loved my time there. Was never really, to a degree, was thinking about moving, and it was only like we had a pretty challenging year last year. So like I had a lot of things going on, which kind of slowed it down a little bit. So I had Bobby, my little girl, but my wife at the time, Kay, she had some complications with like birth. So that like we'll like worrying about that in a sense. And then like I had my contract stuff going on in the background, but didn't play a huge part until kind of the end of the year. But yeah, I think to your question, like, I caught up with the Hawks maybe after maybe with like 10 games to go or something, and it was just to kind of see where they were at, see what they thought, what would suit me to a degree. But yeah, and then things just kind of, I just thought like I'll wait to the end of the year. Obviously had Bobby, so I had a fair bit going on at home. And then was chatting to the Hawks, caught up with Sam and Rob, and went through some things with them, and obviously talking to the Saints as well. And then it wasn't until the end of the year, and it was really tough. Like, it was a hard decision. It was like, do you stay at the Saints and be a one club player there, which was always ingrained in me. I wanted to be a one club player. Then it was like, now that it's more common that a lot of guys are starting to leave, and it's more seen as a business. So yeah, that was challenging, and it took a lot of time. Towards the end of the year, it took a lot of energy and a lot of self-discovery on sort of what's best for not only my development, but for our family, to grow as a person, an individual, a husband, a father. And I just thought that Hawthorn was the best place for me to I guess I was ready for that next challenge, and I really thought that Hawks was the best place for me.
Yeah, and you have to do your due diligence. You have to see what else is out there to capitalise on the new unique opportunity we have as players to make a career, but also, you've got a family, you've got kids, you've got to do what's best for them. So there's a lot that you would have had to weigh up. But back to what we were talking about, like, just using Darcy as an example, he would never leave Collingwood, so let's just clear that up. Yeah. But, his commitment, whether he was talking to another club captain, if it was someone in the leadership group, who has a leadership position, it doesn't mean their commitment is unwavering for that season or the time that they're still at the club. So as a player or a teammate, I don't think, I heard a lot of commentary around, how could you look your captain in the eye if you spoke to another club? I'm like, this is what happens. Like, good on him. He's got to do what's best for himself, like.
Absolutely. And I can agree to that. Like, for instance, for me last year, like, I was so invested in the club and the Saints and everything like that. Like come game day, I think it doesn't matter what's going on. Like, it's the most important 2 hours then and there to, try and help your team win. So whatever's going on, whether it's in your life, in whatever it is day to day, once you cross the line, I think it's just, you're so ingrained in helping your team win.
It's just the industry. It's what happens. But how much did it hurt leaving the Saints as well with not being invited to the best and fairest? Because as we know, I'm still great mates with the Hawks boys. You're great mates with the Saints boys. You know, changes happen. You move on to the next chapter in your lives. So it's nothing, you know, in terms of your friendships, like they'll last forever. But from a club point of view, did that hurt you?
Well, I think like I could understand from sort of, but like I was happy to go. I was like, I'll go. But then I could understand where the Saints were coming from as well. It's like, well, he's made the decision to, because I think it was like the trade period. I'm not sure if the trade period had started yet. But because I was a free agent, it was like, you know what, I made my decision to leave. I'm going to go. So, and I pretty much come out and told the club because I didn't want to keep going back and forth. It was a bit of, you know, what's he going to do? And I was just like, get on the front foot, made a decision because at the time it was like, even my wife, okay, she's like I was going back and forth, and then when I made my decision, I was like, yep, like this is it. This is the best thing for me, for my learning, for my future, where that I need to just get on the front foot and tell the club that I'm going to leave. So I told the club I was going to leave, and then they were really good about it. They just said, yep, like that's your decision. Obviously we want you to stay, but that's your decision. So good luck with everything. And then so I could understand that to a degree that, you know, they don't want me at the BNF. I'm not a player there anymore for the next year. Yeah, but obviously, yeah. So I respected their decision, and yeah, still great mates with a lot of the guys there, and yeah, I wish them all the best, and look forward to playing against them.
You'll see them on the field soon. It's a weird feeling playing against your mates. When did you play the Saints?
No, we played them round 17, so not for a while.
Got a bit of time to prepare.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to playing against them.
Yeah, that's really good. What about your family as well? So Bobby, Billy, Casey. We were just talking before about the Whoop bands, and you sound pretty fanatical with your preparation because you're reviewing your sleep. You were teaching me how to use the Whoop band before, but how much has family impacted your decision as well to move to Hawthorn, but just with every decision you make with your football in your life now? Yeah,
definitely. And I think it's been the greatest thing for me to learn about, and like I'm very family orientated, and I think that was the main thing as well with my decision. What helps me, what decision will help me grow as an individual, a person, a husband, a father, and that's what it ultimately come down to. Like I was ready for the next challenge, and they pretty much dictate all my decisions, and you know how I go about day-to-day life now. And yeah, we're chatting about the Whoop band off air, and you know, trying to cross-check our notes on sleep and things like that. And yeah, I think it just puts things into perspective around, you know, like kids, whether you play well on the weekend or you play poorly on the weekend, they have no idea. So it's like you come home and, you know, you're a father, and you're just you know, dad to them, and you're not this footballer. So and yeah, I think I was very fanatical in how I'd go about, you know, I need a certain amount of sleep, I need a certain amount of this. But then once you have kids, I think it goes out the window, like in terms of like at night that they wake up, they're upset, they're crying or whatever. You know, you're going to check on them, and so yeah, I think
you're thinking this is killing my Whoop score.
Yeah,
right now.
Definitely. Yeah, my Whoop score is going to be 60 now. But no, definitely. Yeah. So it puts everything into perspective, and yeah, it's been amazing for me, and I think it's really helped my footy as well.
Really,
because, you know, like as I said before, like you're so ingrained in wanting to get the best out of yourself and be the best footballer you can, but to have an outlet and to have your like family, like, and they're your overall purpose and why you do, you know, why you want to go out there and perform well, and you know, be the best version of yourself for them, and be a role model for them. I think yeah, it's definitely it's made my purpose a lot greater in life.
And I think that perspective you have, and even how much you value personal development, is really cool. Really respect it, because, you know, a lot of players would probably look at offers they're getting from different clubs and say, you know, this financial offer, this longevity is the best for me. But that wasn't really the case for you. You had a longer term offer, I think, from the Saints, decided to go Hawthorn, and you thought you could learn a lot from Sam and the crew there. So talk to a little bit about the reasoning and what meant the most to you in making the move.
Yeah, and I think our values and sort of morals aligned. And I just thought that the way he goes about life as kind of a mentor in a sense, I was ready for that next challenge and to learn as much as I can off him. He's been a great at the game, but just his outlook on life as well. I thought that was the right decision for us as a family to go down. And Hawthorn's been amazing so far.
What are some of those outlooks? Like obviously family first is a key one.
Yeah, I think so. And then just around like in terms of football, in a sense, like I feel like some of my learnings as a footballer have grown over the last 6 months that I've been there. Just like you obviously think differently. You come in, you would have went through it.
Yeah, you're exposed to new ideas and different ways of thinking.
Yeah,
that's why it's really cool when you do change clubs.
Yeah,
you hear different terminology, different language. You see the game through a different lens.
100%. And like I learned, obviously I was at the Saints for 8 years, learned so much there and had had Corey Enright as a coach. Like Ross was unbelievable. These guys who like great to the game, but it's like, now I can hopefully go and learn more off, Sam, Cade Simpson, he's our backs coach. He's been amazing. And I love learning as much as I can off him. Like he played 340 games and just we cross-check notes on preparation, how he went about it.
He's pretty meticulous, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that, I love that and love learning. So I just thought that the opportunity for me as a person, foremost to grow was around these guys who, Rob McCartney, who's at the club as well. And like he's an amazing man as well.
Yeah, some really good people down there at the Hawks. Loved my time there as well. Would have been good if we crossed over for a year, but wasn't meant to be.
What did you leave?
I left end of 22.
End of 22, yeah.
So I loved my time there as well. But
yeah.
I think we play you guys a few I think we play you guys a few times this year. So
yeah,
a few big games. I think there's a Friday night and then there's one later in the year, potentially.
Yeah, you might be back out there.
I hope so.
Around then.
What about back to the Whoop? Because I was just fascinated by our chat outside and the detail you go to. So you review that every morning, but then also contrary to the sleep and priority put on that, you've used the Zoom Chewies as well before, which I've been on lately.
Yeah. So
they were big at the Saints and the Hawks.
Yeah. So at the Saints we had the Zoom Chewies. So pre main training, it's like a caffeine hit. So guys that like don't want to drink coffee or something, you can have I reckon Jack Higgins used to have about 15 of them. He'd be smacking them.
No wonder he's always buzzing around.
Yeah, he's buzzing around. But yeah, like massive on Whoop even. So Casey, my wife now, she hates it in a sense because come like 9:30, like the kids are already asleep. And so I'm like, righto, like it's time for bed. You want to watch a show? And I'll be like, no, like you can't be watching TV in our room.
Too much screen time.
Yeah, I'm like, you're ruining my REM sleep. But no.
I got to get is it the 2 hours you got to hit? REM?
Yeah, I try and hit around that. But I mean, it's tongue in cheek. Like with kids, I mean, it changes dramatically around things like that. But yeah, I just think that to be at my best and as an individual, try and get my recovery, my sleep, and try and get everything in to be the best person that I can be.
Yeah, that's the side of it as well, isn't there? There's for your performance where I notice if my sleep's a bit off, energy levels at the club, but also like you touched on mood and just a general person to be around when you get your sleep, like the quality of everything goes up.
Yeah, 100%. And I know I'm aware that if I don't have a good sleep or like a couple of good nights sleep, like man, I can be tough to be around. Like I'll get grumpy, get hangry.
Yeah, man, we're all like that.
And it's like Case, she's on the same page with it too. So she's pretty big on her sleep and as parents and even the kids, like if they don't get enough sleep, they get sick and it's
a cycle.
It's a cycle, definitely.
Well, we do have a little gift for you as well. So these are the Zoom Chewies.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, bro.
Which there's a few flavors in there and has to test it as well. So that's probably the most important thing for us, isn't it? Because if something isn't tested and you put something in your body that we're not meant to, you can get in trouble. But yeah, I've been on them hard. So when would you normally take them? How long before a session?
I reckon maybe like half an hour. Because does it say? Yeah, about half an hour.
Yeah, they kick in. I think in under 10 minutes. I think it's 3 to 5 minutes. You get your first little caffeine hit.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yes, I think Saints were big on
10
them.
minutes then, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah. He goes probably on Chewy number 30 by the time he hit 10 minutes.
So yeah, he could sometimes, if he was struggling to sleep, he'd have him.
Just to get back to feeling normal. It's pretty funny when he does his interviews. I feel like he doesn't even know what he's talking about sometimes. He just rambles and he's like, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Oh mate, he's run about Adelaide the other day. That was that's just
he wouldn't have meant any malice in it. It just came out.
Like he definitely I can go in and bat for him. Like he definitely wouldn't have meant that in a way to upset anyone.
No.
Like, that's just him. And
every time he plays in Adelaide, he's going to get booed. Probably.
Yeah, and I think I even seen him put a photo up on his story of him playing COD. Like he said, he's going to sit in his room and play COD. So,
I saw that.
But yeah, no, he's a good man.
That's good. I reckon put that down if you want. We'll just finish on one little thing. We'll finish on the superstitions. I reckon that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. What about superstitions, Joshy? Sorry. What about superstitions, Joshy? I've had some good word that you do have a few good ones, and I'm guilty of a few as well. I'm actually going to share with you.
Yeah, what are yours?
Well, my Sydney days, I was bad, right?
Yeah,
so my OCD was through the roof. I was super anxious.
Yeah.
And I used to have all these things mapped out that I had to do because if I didn't do them, I wouldn't play well.
Yeah.
So this sounds so weird to say, but I'm gonna get off the board with probably the one that I laugh at the most now. I used to drive to the SCG. I can't even tell you. I used to drive to the SCG, and if I didn't have a full tank of petrol, I had this theory in my head that I wouldn't be like full of energy, or
because then you're not full of energy. If
correct.
The car's not full of energy.
That's what I convinced myself with. Because one day I drove in, almost was out of a tank and played bad. I'm like, well, I didn't have my petrol.
Empty.
And then I did the opposite. And you hang on to the things when you play well, don't you? You think, what did I do this week? Filled it up to the top that week and had a blinder.
Dominated, yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to fill my petrol up with a full tank every time. And then it became a thing. Sometimes I would literally have 3/4 full, duck into the survey, quick little top up before getting to the game.
Yeah.
That's probably the one I have the biggest laugh at. But mine are pretty funny in regards to everything has to be even. So if I do 3 handballs on the right, then I have to even up on the left. So everything sort of has to be even and in order.
And it's funny you say that, like I was saying. So Luke Bruce was saying that Shawnee Burgoyne was like that as well. Like he'd be like, if he got his left calf rubbed, he'd have to get his right calf rubbed.
Yeah.
So
even if you only had a sore left calf. I remember that. I played with Shawnee plenty. Yeah. And his theory was, if my right's going to get injured if I don't rub that as well.
Yeah. And what he played 400.
Oh, it worked 407 games. Yeah.
Might have to start trying to do that.
Yeah. But what are some of yours? Do you have any funny ones?
Yeah. What am I? Like, I was similar. I reckon at the start I was like, boom, boom, but have to do all of this. And it was just like, it ends up getting a little bit too much. And now I think since having kids, it's like, well, like if you don't sleep, you touched on it before with Paddy Cripps. Like if he doesn't sleep, it's like, oh, well, that's all right. Just try and tick off your bucket list. But I mean, I was pretty bad at some stages. Like I wouldn't try and like step on cracks and.
Well, I still do that. So I'm glad you've grown out of it. Makes one of us.
Yeah, just all these things. But Case will be like to me, Josh, you can't do that. Like the kids are going to start. They'll copy you. So, but no, I was the same. Like I'd normally wear the same like Speedos, game day. I used to have the same meal the night before a game, but it's kind of changed.
That's pretty generic. I feel like most players, they'd be lying if they said they didn't have, whether you call it a routine or superstitions, but so many guys will act up funny if they don't have something like that in order.
Yeah.
I think it's an athlete thing. You have to, have some level of control before the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've definitely got OC to some degree, with just in my life too, the way, like I'm very routine based. So if things like change in the blink of an eye, like I'm just like,
it's not ideal.
It's not ideal.
So if I said today we're on at 11:30, but last minute was like, hey mate, can we do 12:30? Would have killed you.
Oh well, yeah, I would have been here waiting, being like, man, I got kids at home, I got to, But nah,
I feel like they're all fairly normal, but it is funny. You look around the locker room, how different everyone is. You would have seen some characters in your time, but who's been the most chill player you've seen?
Yeah,
and the most locked in.
So chilled, but like I reckon even now, like seeing like Nick Watson, for instance, like he just chills and then goes out and like dominates, and I'm just like, wow, like just does his own thing and then can just go out and just like turn it on. That's funny. One of your one of the most intense guys I've met and played alongside is one of your mates, Dan Hanbury.
Yeah.
Like he was next level, just so intense. Like I'd struggle pre-game to like be around him. It was funny one day, like we were out there playing and he was like just, he was so in. I reckon I missed the ground ball and at halftime, mate, the coaches we're about to go in a room and he's grabbed me. He's like, "Wait, come here." And he used to call me Pretz. He's like, "Pretz, come here." And he's grabbed me and he's making me like he's giving me ground balls like at halftime. And yeah, he was so intense. But yeah, loved playing with him. And he was an avid preparer and
I remember Hannah's as well. We actually had him on the podcast recently, which will be coming out soon too. But like pre-game, we'd just be yelling out stuff. Wouldn't even know what he's yelling. He's like, "Step in,
mate.
Next contest."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Mate, you're gonna have no energy for the game.
Yeah.
You're going off your head right now."
Mate, he was full.
But he's great player.
Yeah.
And great teammate. You know, he was tough as.
Yeah. And to an extent, like learn a lot off him the way he like, I don't reckon people would know
diligence
how diligent he was. Yeah. Like Monday to Friday, his prep was probably one of the best I've seen. The way like and I think a lot of people take the piss out of you, but like in terms of stretching, I think he would stretch so much. Yeah. Like he was always doing something to look after his body.
Yeah, he got on the DNS train, which is a form of training, which is essentially stretching for people who haven't seen it. And I do it religiously. Like I'll do it in our meetings, so I just don't care. Yeah. You know, you with the 18-year-old kid with the green machine and just shy, I embrace you know what, I'm going to stand and stretch this whole meeting. Everyone gives it to me. I'm like, once you embrace it though, you don't hear about it. So
and you feel good after it.
Yeah, you feel good after it, correct. Mate, good to chat. Thanks so much for coming on and see you at the G later in the year.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Tommy.